We're here with the king of covers, Jason Ellis.
How's it going, Mike? It's always great to see you.
Likewise, Jason. Now, Jason, I noticed that I see your models on all the covers, the men and the women. Now, what are you looking for when you look for these models?
Well, these days, for women, I really like women that have a combination of fitness and with curves. In fact, I have my own magazine called Fitness Curves. So, you know, the old days of the women bodybuilders getting too big and veiny, that's I think, kind of trending out. Very similar with men and men's physique and this whole trend towards the classic physique for men. So I think that even Arnold himself was saying, you know, the extreme bodybuilder days are kind of dwindling down, and the new thing is more of the classic physique, like the Sadiq, you know, Callum von Moger. That type of physique is coming back, like Frank Zane, obviously. So I think that's where the industry is going.
Troy Moore is here. He's a former IFBB pro. Troy, what do you think of today's bodybuilding the way it used to be, the golden years compared to now?
Well, I started back in 1988, and it was all about aesthetics, symmetry, muscle belly, narrow waist, big legs, big upper back, and big shoulders, big chest. Also big arms. So you had that whole pleasing look. And today I think they quite just lost that. And they're just getting bigger and bigger. What happens is it starts out, I'd say, from Dorian era. So when Dorian set the standard, and then the next guy had to be bigger than Dorian, and then the next guy, you know, came Ronnie Coleman, and then the next guy was Phil Heath and J.E. Cutler. And these guys, you know, in between, I think they just lost the symmetry and aesthetics.
Now, who's to blame for this?
It's the public, because they just want guys being bigger and bigger and bigger. It's not necessarily bigger is better. Okay, for example, look at Lee Priest. He was 193 pounds. Competed with guys 230, 240, Sean Ray, you know, let's see, Milos, all those guys. They all still had aesthetic pleasing looks. So it didn't necessarily mean that you had to be big, you know? Look, I'm 5'4", 5'5", and the heaviest I ever got was 195, 197, but you still had a 29, 28 inch waist, you know? But overall package was symmetry.
Troy, you answered all our questions perfectly, and you know we're working on an award show this year, coming up 2018, with Rachel McLeish.
Okay, that's really cool. I'm very happy.
So that will dial it back a little bit. We're looking for the Model of the Year, Show of the Year, Magazine Cover of the Year, and so on.
That's perfect.
This gentleman here, his name is Nick Nat. You're going to be hearing a lot about him. He's got a very classic physique. Notice his arms are actually bigger than his waist. So when you achieve that, then you know you've achieved something. Yeah, Rachel, you know, obviously she's an icon, one of the greatest women's physiques of all time, and just obviously a very marketable look to be able to sell all of those books and DVDs and accomplish what she has accomplished. I mean, that speaks volumes. So she's definitely an icon, and I think that women should aspire to look like her.
Everything's kind of just gotten bigger, and that's every single category. So women's bodybuilding back in the day, I think, is kind of now women's figure today, and women's physique, which is new women's bodybuilding, is now a step further.
So, Mayor, we're doing an award show headed up by none other than Miss Olympia Rachel McLeish.
Really?
Yes, we're going to...
When?
Coming up 2018.
If Shanine's coming, I'm coming.
I'll be there.
What do you think of Rachel?
Oh, Rachel, she's my buddy. I train with Rachel. We bike ride with Rachel all these during the golden era. I mean, you know, Rachel is one of the original.
Yes, I know.
She's, you know, that's the kind of bodybuilding I like, with maintaining feminine muscularity. That's what really. And she, remember, she used to use the term sex appeal.
Yes.
It is sexually appealing. Come on.
Yes.
Now we're standing with beautiful Shanique. That is beautiful. I talk to Rachel all the time. She looks better now than she did 25
He's
years
the
ago.
top of the world, and we're going to be doing our own awards show coming in 2018 in California, and it'll be unbelievable. Arnold's been complaining about the bodybuilders because they're getting too big, too heavy, too bloated. We're going to turn back the clock to the days of Frank Zane, Samir Banoud, Ali Mali, all the greats.
Bodybuilding is a performing art. You gotta have the beauty. I mean, getting big, it don't mean really anything. They force their way into winning by coming in too big, and you can tell by the way they're posing. Why? Why do we have to go the harsh way? I was 196 pounds and I won the Olympia. Lee Haney won the Olympia 8 times. It's not about how big you are.
Judges, you heard the man talk. He's a Mr. Olympia winner. I've been around this sport for over 40, 50 years. We got to turn back the clock, as Arnold says. We've got to get back to the small waist, the symmetrical bodies, and healthy bodies that are going to be around for 60, 70, 80 years.
I'd like to send this message to the IFBB, to Rafael Santoja and Jim Mannion, the main man in the MPC, so these people have the biggest say. And I also like to mention that, bring Miss Eric Wheeler. This is important. We need the healthy bodybuilding. We need to implement new rule that this is unacceptable. You come to the show with big stomach, you're disqualified.
Disqualified. Goodbye. Good luck.
We give you 6-month suspension. You do that again, you're suspended for life. This is not bodybuilding when you come in with a pregnant...
Samir, now you know why Ben Weider never got his wish. He wanted bodybuilding in the Olympics.
Yeah, and now it's very unfortunate because it's becoming a jungle. We have to have a tighter rule to keep the store healthy, to keep it beautiful.
Do it
Healthy. Don't cross the line. I mean, they're going to the dark side way too much.
Samir, you spoke like our dear father, Joe Weider, the father of bodybuilding, would speak. He'd say, they're too muscular. Dial it back. Let's dial it back. We can do it. Arnold said it too. Let's dial it back. We don't need the bloated bellies. We need the judges to step up to the plate and do it once and do it right and keep our athletes alive longer. Samir, it's been a pleasure.
Pleasure talking to you always. You and Janine.
Thank you so
Pleasure.
much for including me. I truly appreciate it. I love being here with the two of you.
This is Michael S. at the one and only Olympia in Las Vegas, Nevada. Out.